Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Laura Pence. Before we get started today, I want to just check in and make sure that you've subscribed to this channel. And also, when you subscribe, make sure you tap that little alarm button. That's going to make sure that you get the notifications that we are online with new episodes. And it's important to stay abreast of what's going on so that you can dive into this journey of self-discovery and learn about your greatest self. So today, we're talking about one of my favorite topics, non-negotiables. I asked you the larger question of who am I, right? And that's what this month, January, is all about. It's all about answering the question, who am I? Part of that understanding requires you to know and identify what's called your non-negotiables. And non-negotiables are pretty simple. They're like non-negotiable things, right? So things in your life that if you didn't have, or if they were missing, that you would feel the absence of those. It would like reverberate in your life, in your physical body, in your mental space, in your relationships, okay? So when I think about non-negotiables and like my own non-negotiables, there are two that come to mind really quickly. One of them is movies. I cannot live a life without movies. The second one is me time. It's really difficult for me to show up as my best self, to show up for my clients, to show up in my relationships, in my marriage, as a mother, if I'm not taking me time, right? So the absence of those two things, if I didn't have movies and if I didn't have me time, I would suffer. I would struggle, and others would feel the impact of that. If I didn't have movies, I would be irritable. I just know that I would because they're that important. If I didn't have me time, I would be exhausted, right? And other people would feel the impact of that. So your first exercise this week is to identify your non-negotiables. You can have 3, you can have 5, you can have 10. Try and like stay a little bit closer to the number of 5, because once you get up to the number of 10, you might be identifying things that aren't really non-negotiables, they're just your wants, right? And what's important is to distinguish between non-negotiables and wants, right? Again, non-negotiables are things that if they were not in your life, you would feel the absence of them. The absence of them would matter to you. Wants are just things that you want. Like my Converse sneakers. I want those. I like those. But if I didn't have them, I'd be okay. All right? So again, exercise of the week, identify your non-negotiables. Make sure you're tuning in on Thursday because we're going to talk about what happens when you begin to negotiate with your non-negotiables. And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not pretty. So make sure you're tuning in on Thursday. Don't forget, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, if you're interested in going like a little bit deeper with what we're doing here, having some supplemental materials, some additional exercises and prompts that's going to deepen this learning a little bit more, consider becoming a patron on my Patreon page. It's a way, again, for you to dive a little bit deeper into this journey and begin to call up your greatest self. Come back on Thursday. I'll see you then.